Today we're going to do a quick review of supplementary and complementary angles. So two quick definitions here. Complementary angles, two angles that add up to 90 degrees. So the sum of their measures is 90 degrees. Supplementary angles is when the sum of their measures is 180 degrees, or two angles whose measures add up to 180 degrees. So scrolling down, taking a look at 1, 2, and 3, it says tell whether the angles are complementary or supplementary. So if we add up 37 plus 53, 37 plus 53 gives us a sum of 90 degrees, and when they add up to 90 degrees, that means they're complementary. For number 2, if we add up 62 plus 18, 62 plus 18 equals 80 degrees, and that is neither complementary or supplementary. A last problem here, number 3, if we add up 134 plus 46, that gives us a sum of 180 degrees. When they add up to 180 degrees, they are supplementary. Alright, so make sure you just show a little work, and showing this work right here is enough to prove your answer there. For numbers 4 and 5, it says find the measures of the angles that are complementary and supplementary to the given angle. So for number 4, we have an angle with a measure of 40 degrees, and we want to know what angle would be complementary to that. So complementary means they add up to 90 degrees. So 40 plus what number is going to give us 90 degrees? Okay, well, the easiest way to do that is just to do 90 minus 40, and 90 minus 40 gives us an angle that is 50 degrees. Okay, so 40 plus 50 add up to 90, so 50 is the complementary angle there. And then we're going to do the same thing for supplementary angles. So if we have an angle measure of 40 degrees, what would be the angle that is supplementary to that? So we're asking ourselves, 40 plus what number gives us 180? Okay, or 40 plus x, you could think of that. So the easiest way to do that would be to do 180 minus 40, and 180 minus 40 gives us 140 degrees. So 40 plus 140, those two angles would be supplementary. Same process here for number 5. If we have an 85-degree angle, okay, what angle would be complementary to that? So we're asking ourselves 85 plus what angle gives us 90? So if you do 90 minus 85, or you might be able to just figure this one out in your head, it's a 5-degree angle there. And then for supplementary, we want to know 85 plus what angle is equal to 180. So we're doing 180 minus 85, which gives us 95 degrees. Flipping over to the next page of notes, it says tell whether the angles are complementary or supplementary, and then write and solve an equation to find the value of x. So we're going to use those definitions of complementary and supplementary angles here to help us write some equations. So for number 6, okay, this little symbol right there is a right angle symbol. That means those two angles add up to 90 degrees. So whenever they add up to 90 degrees, they are complementary. So if we want to write that equation that says they're complementary, complementary means two angles add up to 90 degrees. So we're going to take 3x, we're going to add the second angle, which is 30. So if we add those two angles together, okay, since they're complementary, it's going to equal 90 degrees. Okay, now we want to show our steps to solve here. So our first step would be to subtract 30 from both sides. We get 3x is equal to 60, and if we divide both sides by 3, we get x is equal to 20 there. So x is equal to 20, then we want to actually go back and give the angle measures of both angles. So what we have to do is take this 20 and plug it back in here for x. So this becomes 3 times 20, and 3 times 20 gives us 60 degrees there. So the angle measures are 30 degrees and 60 degrees, And if we check those, they should add up to 90 degrees, which is one way that you can check your answer there. And number 7, so we have angles of 99 and 3x, and anytime there are two angles create this straight line here, they're going to be supplementary. So knowing that they are supplementary, we can now write an equation to help us solve for x. So when they are supplementary, we're going to add up the two angles. So 3x plus 99. And since supplementary means those have to equal 180 degrees when we add them up. So showing our steps to solve, we would be subtracting 99, which gives us 3x is equal to 81. And then we're going to divide both sides by 3. 81 divided by 3 means x is equal to 27. Okay. So we found the value of x. Now we need to plug that back into our expressions to find the angle measures. So the first angle is 99. That one's good to go. The second angle measure, we're going to plug 27 in for x. So it becomes 3 times 27. And 3 times 27 gives us 81. Okay, so our angle measures there are 99 and 81. All right, taking a look at number 8. Those two angles create a straight line here, so that means they are supplementary. And supplementary means when we add them up, so if we take 2x plus 60 and add 6x, they're going to equal 180 degrees. First step when we're solving this equation, we got to combine like terms. So 2x plus 6x gives us 8x. Bring down our plus 60 is equal to 180. So we're looking at 8x plus 60 is equal to 180. If we subtract 60 from both sides, we're looking at 8x is equal to 120. And if we divide both sides by 8, 120 divided by 8 means that x is equal to 15. Now to find our angle measures, we're going to plug 15 back into both of these expressions. So if we plug 15 into this expression here, it's going to be 2 times 15 plus 60, which is 30 plus 60, which is equal to 90. So that angle there is 90 degrees. If we plug 15 back into this angle, it's going to be 6 times 15. So 6 times 15 also gives us 90 degrees. So both of those angles are 90 degrees. And that makes sense because they have to add up to 180 because they're supplementary. Okay, number 9. Whenever we see this box here, that right angle measure, it means that they are complementary. Okay, and by definition, complementary means they add up to 90 degrees. So we're going to do 8x. We're going to add these angles up. 8x plus 7x. Okay, and since it's complementary, it's going to equal 90 degrees. All right, let's combine like terms here on the left-hand side. We get 15x is equal to 90 degrees. And if we divide both sides by 15, 90 divided by 15 is 6. So x is going to equal 6 here. Our last step would be to plug 6 back into these expressions up here to find the angle measures. So if we plug 6 back in for x, this is going to be 8 times 6. And 8 times 6 gives us an angle measure of 48 degrees. And then if we plug 6 into the second equation, that's going to be 7 times 6. And that gives us an angle measure of 42 degrees. Okay, so first be able to identify whether or not the angles are complementary or supplementary. Okay, if they are complementary, you're adding them up and setting them equal to 90. If they are supplementary, you're adding them up and setting it equal to 180. Okay, scrolling down here to one last problem. I have to do a little erasing here before we do this problem. All right, taking a look at one last problem here. Number 10, it says find the value of x and y for the given diagrams. So we're going to kind of use those definitions of supplementary and complementary to help us out. Okay, the first thing I notice here is that this angle 5y and this angle 155 create this straight line here. So that means those two angles are supplementary, which means we can add them up. 5y plus 155 and set it equal to 180. Whenever they make that straight line, they equal 180. So if we want to solve this equation, we can subtract 155. We get 5y is equal to 25. And if we divide both sides by 5, it means y is equal to 5 there. Okay, so since y is equal to 5, we know that this angle measure is going to be 5 times 5, or 5 times y. So this angle measure right here is 25 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and scribble this out and then rename that angle 25 degrees, because that's going to help us be able to find x. So taking a look now, if we want to find x, okay, these two angles right here, this 25 degree angle that we just found and that 13x angle, create a right angle, which means they're complementary. And when the angles are complementary, we can write the equation like this. So we're going to add up 25 plus 13x, and that needs to equal 90 degrees for complementary. Our next step would be to subtract 25 from both sides, which gives us 13x is equal to 65. And if we divide both sides by 13, x is going to equal 5 there. So y ends up being 5 and x ends up being 5 there. But we're just using our definitions of supplementary and complementary angles there to help us find those missing angles.